that the election will end at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock is just about
a few minutes away from
exactly a few minutes away. So the concern will be, if by 1 o'clock those people have still not voted, is there something that INEC will do to try to accommodate them, or will that mean in a time of low voter turnout that will also turn out a few who have shown up?
That would be unfair to the people that came out to vote. If we have low voters turnout and you are putting a cap, but though we've not confirmed that from INEC, it could be a rumor to discourage certain people from coming out to vote. And also another interesting thing, the man said it was a certain ethnic group did not come out to vote because they believe that the election is for the indigenes and all that. But it's supposed not to be.
It ought not to be. Yes. I do not think that's a fantastic observation, but I do not think that's the premise. I think the reason for that is that many times some of those people feel unsafe and believe that if they vote their conscience, that they may be at risk of attack, of all kinds of things from the indigenous. So they'd rather just stay away.
Yes, that could also be a factor. Another factor is this again. Some of them, their voters card, they didn't register here.
That's another one.
Yes, so it could be their hometown, so they cannot participate. It could be their hometown and all that. So that would be, especially when it comes to the areas of Kuje, Aziz, or all those satellite towns area. You are not going to expect good number of non-indigens to come out. I remember, though not in Abuja, but in Karo, we have good numbers of non-indigens living in there. The Nasarawa side of Karo, not Abuja side of Karo, because we have Karo in Nasarawa, we have Karo in Abuja. I remember how votes were suppressed in that Aziz, Abacha Road down to Maraba. You have good numbers of people from the south and the north converging in that Aziz. So that is could also be a point why some of these non-indigenous and in the process, primary elections in the political parties, how were non-indigenous carried along, in the process of doing that? If they have, let's say, I can only see that in Amak, where you have good number of non-indigenous contesting the election, either as chairman or vice chairman or councillor or in all the. But after that, in the somewhere like Kwali, Abaji, and you will only see people from the northern axis of Nigeria contesting the election. So when your own people, you feel like my own person is not there. Some of them are like, oh, we are not part of the process. So let them have their way. It's their town, it's their area. They let them do whatever they want to do. My own is to abide by the rules and do what So some people may have that kind of feelings. That is why they are not participating in these FCT local council elections.
Yeah, but that's something to really, really worry about, because ordinarily, Nigerians, and we should have the freedom and have a sense of belonging to be able to vote anywhere. But that's not the reality.
No, where you are resident.
Yeah,
you should be free to vote and be voted for, especially when you are paying your tax.
Your tithes, you're living within the law.
Children, within the law, and you should be able to do that. But the Nigeria of today, it's not like Nigeria of those days where non-indigenous are winning elections, mobilizing, for people within that area. You see, when someone is mobilizing and you are not from that particular, you see where the indigenous will gang up against you. It's not that whether it's peculiar to Abuja or it's peculiar to either south or north. I just saw a video before we came on air, but has nothing to do with election, where the indigenous from a particular state in the south were telling soldiers that they should go back to their village. That the soldiers should go back to their village and do what they are doing, that they should not come here. You know, so you can imagine how...
If it can get to that.
To that level, not to talk of election, you know. So we need to, our leaders, still come back to our leaders. They should give us what it takes to be a Nigerian. Let me have that feeling that I'm in Nigeria. You know, apart from what don't let me say this because it is election. It's so that it won't look like I'm campaigning for the Minister of Fct. You know, if you look at what like in the last 20 or close to 30 years that I've been in Abuja, this is the first time water board is passing through my area. You understand? This is the first time water board. And so how do you now expect people from that area, how do you want them to feel? At least for the first time, you are not going to, when that project is done, because it's almost done, for the first time, you are not going to bother about borehole in that community. We are talking from whole Karo, Nyanya, Aziz down to Karishi. So if our leaders can provide that, free education, health, transportation, even when transportation might not be free, but cost, the cost is at reduced cost, affordable. Yeah. Things are easier. Say it's only, you can't see a Saudi Arabian person is going to UK, United Kingdom to study and doing menial job. You have to just try to do research on that. They are the same oil producing countries like ours. You can't see an Emirati, United Arab Emirates, going to US, schooling and doing menial jobs. But such is not the case for Nigerians. We don't even mind doing what we can do in Nigeria, as long as it is abroad, just for us to get out of this country. It's because we are not having that feeling that our leaders cares. That is why we see all these kind of things during the election. I don't care. Whatever they want to do, let them do. You hear billions of naira. By the time they will sign this budget to law, you hear the amount of money that will be allocated to INEC. Huge. And at the end of the day, what is going to happen? Majority of the people will not be satisfied with the result of. So I think that is why we are having these kind of things we are having in the country.
Well, someone was here in the house the other day and he said, well, that there's no country that has it all together and that we should be grateful for whatever incremental progress we're able to make. Yeah, but sometimes those changes, the rate can be too slow and there's a rate that ordinarily a country that is blessed like Nigeria should be moving at. And so I think it's complacency. I think it's we have gotten so frustrated as a people that we're willing to accept even the most basic standards when we should be opting for something that's really level. Exactly. So it's a complicated matter, but I think that we all have a stake in all of this to ensure that, number one, that our values are right. If we get back our values right, it will impact every sector of this nation, and it will begin to re-energize the system in such a way that some things will naturally just die off. Some attitudes that are currently anti-society, that are currently not worthy, not positive, will begin to wilter and die. We need to get to that point, because if we continue on this current path, we clearly are inviting something that's not good. The particular word is in my mouth. I just don't want to use it. So let's wake up. Let's embrace one another. Let's allow people to live freely. The other day, there was this program I was on, and somebody said, even the religions, the popular religions, in Nigeria, you talk about Christianity, you talk about Islam. Now, both of them, particularly, I've heard it more from the Islamic side, that there's no compulsion in religion.
Yeah,
there's no compulsion in religion.
There's no compulsion.
So why do we have people compelling people to accept a kind of way of life? Why is it that people who belong to opposite religions cannot dwell together in peace?
It's because we merge politics
with religion.
With religion. So we now weaponize religion. That is why it's like that. It's certain people, if you are not a Christian, you can't walk
with them.
If you are not a Muslim, you cannot walk with them, or you can't gain certain benefit. Some people just naturally have that kind of a thing. And traditional worshippers, you don't see that in them. And they also make people to believe that once somebody is a traditional worshipper, they are voodooist and they are evil. If you work with them, they will take your destiny. So with that kind of programming, people tend to, avoid such people. And from a Christian, we now be avoiding a Muslim because they don't want to get, or probably when you are talking about religion or doing something, you get violent and all that. So one is just because people have politicized religion. I have friends that are Muslims. When we come together, we play together, we laugh together, we eat together. In fact, we can even share clothes together. But they are of opposing faith. As in, they are of different faith, I'm of different faith. I have my belief, they have their. But that does not stop our humanity. But when it now comes to a larger scale, you will not see me that somebody that is eating with somebody that is of the other faith will not be quarreling or fighting or abusing the other person.
Usually, these embers are fanned from above.
From above. So I think our leaders, the elites, there was a time there was this argument in Nigeria where people will argue, should we have a philosopher king or a king philosopher, or should we have a priest king, or we don't have such argument again anymore. I didn't mean such a debate at all. You will see that some people that permit me to use this word, some charlatans that will not come and say they want to get to a particular post. They will not, because they will not be able to withstand the debate. How many television or don't let me go hard on the press, but how many times have you seen people arguing or debating? Oh, that person is a philosopher. That person can, if you look at the campaign materials of Nnamdi Azikiwe in those days, arrest majority of them, you will be hearing socialism. That was the time of argument of welfareism or socialism or capital. You will be, most of his words that he will use, that then personally I consider as verbose as at that time, is anything zim. And if you listen to the likes of this Ghanaian president, late Ghanaian president that died, founding father, or let me use the word founding father of Ghana. Write this name now. That's
Nkrumah.
Nkrumah, yes. That is Nkrumah, yes. Nkrumah. When we listen to them, you will see the kind of arguments they put forward, the agenda they put forward there. But these days, are you seeing that? If you read the books and so many things of Awolowo, are you seeing that? No.
So the intellectualism is
dying. It's going. As at 1950 something, Sir Ahmadu Bello has a development plan for northern Nigeria. When I lay my hands on that document, how they are going to build leather factory, how they are going to do cocoa, how they are going to do this cocoa even in the north, how they are going to do this, how they are going to, and they have all planned out in all aspects of northern Nigeria. I will try to look for that document and probably forward it to you. You will like, whoa, as at 60s, late 50s, they had all that. But who among the leaders that we have now have, even the current political parties we have now, who among them have development plans? As in political parties having their own plan, that when their own candidate comes in, they say, okay, this is our vision. We want you as a councillor, as a chair, local government chairman, as a governor, you are coming to use our platform. these are the things, apart from your own agenda, your own agenda must align with this. I think that is what they now call manifesto. But how many of them are having that? Go and read Bruce Ali's UPE, Universal Primary Education. It's almost the same thing with Oyo State. And they almost preliminary because they are of the same political party, UPN, of that time. Awolowo was able to put down these things down. And when they started implementing that UPE program, you see that the enrollment plan in Oyo State increased. The same thing with Bender State, as at then. But how many political parties that have that kind of a thing?
Well, the talking points are really very many. The analysis never ends here, especially when you have Chukwunalu AK on the set and the caliber of several other analysts that we regularly have on this station. We do hope that within these 2.5 hours or 3, I don't know whether it's up to 3, we do hope that we've met your needs for information, dissemination, for, in-depth analysis and all of that, because very shortly we will take a break, and before the second session will come up from 1 o'clock. We go on a break right away, but I just want to say thank you for staying tuned, because without you, then there will be no TV station. The TV station exists because there are viewers. Thank you so much for your commitment, for your loyalty. I want to say thank you to the production team, all of you, Bright, Bamileri, everyone who's contributed to the success of this. God bless you. And let me say thank you to my co-anchor this afternoon, or today, Chukwunalu AK.
Thank you very much, sir.
All right, so that will be it. My name still remains Dayo Mogo. I hope to see you soon, most probably next week. Bye-bye for now.
Elections into the FCT area councils are coming, but are you informed? The New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV, presents a 30-day countdown to the FCT area council elections. Meet the candidates, hear their plans, examine their vision, assess their capacity to lead. From councillors to chairmen, one platform, one people, one purpose. Because leadership matters. Elections into the FCT area councils are coming, but are you informed? The New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV, presents a 30-day countdown to the FCT area council elections. Meet the candidates, hear their plans, examine their vision, assess their capacity to lead. From councillors to chairmen, one platform, one people, one purpose. Because leadership matters. Elections into the FCT area councils are coming, but are you informed? The New Direction Movement, in partnership with KAFTAN TV, presents a 30-day countdown to the FCT area council elections. Meet the candidates, hear their plans, examine their vision.
You can't afford to miss the press with guests so knowledgeable and articulate.
The World Human Rights Index and Rules of Law shows that Nigeria was ranked 142 in terms of insecurity.
What of the issue of Mahmoud Yakub?
Join us Mondays to Fridays for in-depth analysis from the front page of our national dailies.
And NIGCOMSAT Group in U.S. Fault Canals continue trial.